All right, it's Thursday, July 27th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we had a big red looking reversal bar where we gapped up pretty strong, had a very wide opening range, and by the end of the day closed with a 3-bar, meaning we took out the high the previous day, came back to the midpoint of that day, took out the low of that day, and another target down here. There's still, you can see other there's like a double bottom here now, which to me would be the likely next target. Even though this 3-bar is not an actionable signal for tomorrow, either up or down, you would think it should follow through a little bit lower, and you can see like 2 stops here, and then we'll see, what unfolds, if that happens. A lot of things to go over today. Actually, I bought some puts today. Kind of in the mid, as this was dropping at the near the midway point, a little before the pre-market lows, and it came all the way down, and I shot 3 videos on that. So you might want, and I was also explaining a lot of what's developing within the market. So I think instead of going over that here again, maybe I'll just recap it quickly. You could really watch those 3 videos of that trade where I describe a lot of what's going on in the bigger picture. But a summary of it is, given that I saw a potential chain reaction, meaning that I expected, once I saw the market begin to really drop, and I'll get into the 15-minute chart in a second, but it opened up here, it started down, second push down, it really started dropping. I was anticipating at this kind of red line I drew in that we might be heading lower on a bigger picture level. The bottom line was we had now a target down here of the pre-market lows. Once that was hit, that was the midway point of that bar. Yesterday's bar, that should get to those lows. Once that hit, then we were turning the weekly chart back to red. And if we and now that we're coming to the end of a week, which is very important, this happened on a Thursday. We have one more day to go where this looks more and more like it's going to be developing into a shooter bar, which should follow through into next week. And then a 2-down week next week takes us to this target down here, down below 450 to the 440s type of thing. And we'll even see, it could be, we discussed in some recap videos how we haven't had a down week in a while, a 2-down week. So that's sort of unfolding, and a lot of things were developing here as it was pushing down to kind of set all that up. So I go over that in those videos. You might want to watch it. But in terms of now, well, first of all, for tomorrow, like I said, it's a 3-bar. So all that is on a very short-term basis is broadening action, a little higher highs and lower lows. But since we didn't really bounce from this lower low here, it looks like we're going to be going to the next targets, more the bigger picture. If I spread it out, on the 15-minute chart, yeah, we made the higher highs and the lower lows here, but you can see there's another bigger picture lower low to make down in that area. And a lot of that makes sense relative to if we can close, Friday with a shooter bar, that should follow through lower into next week. Again, if we don't get above the midpoint of this big red bar tomorrow, then all likelihood we end up with a shooter bar on the week, which should project lower. So that's why, I got pretty bearish here once I saw what unfolded. So getting to that real quickly, the day gapped up big. I don't always love buying when it goes up big, even if it follows through. But in this case, you didn't even have that. If anything, the first trade of the day paused here on 2 bars and then started lower. So right here, you had pretty high probability we're going to come down and take out some stops before even getting any kind of a red to green move. Eventually it came down, throughout the morning. So there was actually but you're above the midpoint of yesterday. So you're kind of biased to the long side overall with some other stocks, but with the SPY, there was nothing to do but consider short. On this rebound up here, we didn't come past the midpoint of that move down, and then we rolled over and took out, it was classic 1 push down, 2nd push down. I discussed the whole reasons why on the 2nd push down, I didn't think we were going to get that bounce for a little scalp trade, even though it was a kind of a negative intraday structure. And I bought puts here, and you can watch videos on why I did that. And now in terms of but the market, overall, I was just looking at, it was a pretty busy day for me. I mean, if you look at all these, I was trading, I traded NVIDIA to start the day, Google, Meta, and Airbnb, and then I bought at the very end those SPY puts at the 460 puts at 501, and they closed here at 794, so almost 3 points higher as we go into tomorrow. But if you look at the individual stocks, I mean, NVIDIA, I shot a whole bunch of videos on these. I try to buy it here out of the gates because even though the SPY was kind of coming down, the overall trend was still up. So this was one of the stocks that had, I gave a shot to. I broke even on this trade. I rebought it here, and I actually exited here at this new highs, and then I exited the rest of the position up here at this blue line. So again, my morning trades kind of saved me not being overly greedy because the market ended up rolling over. Same thing happened in Google. I bought that one here at the blue line. I ended up scaling out and I sold up here at the second blue line, just with my morning trades, and the market rolled over. Again, I was anticipating maybe the highs of the day were taken out, but given we paused here, I decided to exit, and everything just rolled over at that point. I didn't know what happened, but that's what unfolded. Airbnb was a kind of a break-even trade. Got in on the second bar, had a pause. I shot a video that you should, at this point, scale out, set up a no-risk trade. At that point, you could have easily just broken even at worst before it collapsed. And finally, Meta, that was a crazy one with the big gap up after earnings. Just given the history on this stock, I actually bought puts here at the blue line, and it went down from that point on all session long. So, I took some profits earlier, but it was a good one, given the opening price action to go short. And obviously, I detected that the SPY was kind of weak as well, so, it was a mixed market overall. So anyway, I will conclude there. We will see what happens tomorrow. I'm anticipating we'll have to see on this broadening action what really develops by the end of the week. We could come down. There's no actionable signal. I anticipate taking out those lows, but you never know. You can get a 3 down. A 2 down into tomorrow, and then maybe by Monday we start up for an actionable signal. Now, what's interesting there, I guess one final point, the monthly chart, we have 2 days to go in the month, and you can see here this month is still kind of going to close green. Let's just say we come down a little bit, not too much. We still close green, looking like we might be heading up into, August following through. We'd have to get a 2 down month to really turn the market negative. And if we go to the weekly chart, that if we end up somewhere over here, a 2 down month, I think is, all the way down here on the weekly chart, in order to really get August really negative. So we could just on the weekly chart be pulling back, filling some gaps in here, and then turning up into August because we still have one final big picture target up here at the yellow line we haven't reached yet. So this pullback might be very good trading on the short side. It doesn't mean we're necessarily collapsing because the monthly chart, which we'll get into, we have 2 more days to go in July. We'll get into that, at the end of the month, what's really unfolding there. That's still up. It might be projecting higher. So this could just be a weekly pullback to, eventually have some good buy signals. We've been kind of waiting for that after all this move up, some good, retracements in order to look to buy. And again, you can see here, any weekly retracements in here can take out a whole bunch of gaps and everything, offer great trading. But then the monthly chart still, we're above it here with the green line, and we could be heading up, at some point once the weekly chart, if we go lower, if the weekly chart turns back up and presents some good long trades to our eventual target up here. So we'll get into that at the end of the month. So that's it for today. Very busy day, interesting day, but it looks like we should be maybe getting our first pullback after quite a while on the weekly charts here. That's what's unfolding until proven otherwise. That's what I'll anticipate, and we'll just have to see how where tomorrow leads us and how it ends the week, and then what that means for the next week ahead.